Now, I'm a writer and I love journals. I love the way they feel. I love the way the paper turns. I'm very picky about my journals, but I buy them when I see them. So I had a stack of journals in my office at home, and I dug through them and I found this one. It says, "All things grow with love." And I thought, this is perfect. So remember, I'm a recovering type A. I divided it, I counted the pages, and I divided it into quarters and put Post-it notes because I wanted it to last a year. And I didn't want to have a whole bunch of empty pages at the end, and I didn't want to run out of space. So I divided it in quarters so I could kind of pace myself. I told my daughter I was doing this last January, and she said, "Mom, that's really cool, but you're never going to keep this up for a year." I did. I did it because I wanted to give my husband this gift of love. Now, I love my husband, so I thought it's not going to be hard to come up with reasons to love him. And I didn't know that it was going to turn into such a gift for me, because we're so used to looking at things like, they didn't put their shoes away, or they didn't pick up their towel or something. But when you really switch that, remember, these are just easy, simple tricks that you play on your mind. If you switch it and you start looking for reasons that you love somebody, it started to become fun for me. And I started watching him like a spy. Some days I wrote one sentence, and some days I wrote like 2 pages. And I wrote funny things. Some days I did write, "I love you because you took out the garbage today." But some days I wrote, "I really love how you touch my cheek because it makes me feel loved." I started paying attention to what really does make me feel loved and what makes me love him. So I wrote for a year. And we went to California for New Year's this year, and so I took it with because I wanted to write all the way through the end of the year. I took tissue paper and a gold bow in my suitcase, and I wrote on January 31st, and then on December 31st, and then on January 1st, I sat down and I wrote an explanation of what it had meant to me to do this for a year. I ended on the very last page, halfway through the page, and my book was done. And I wrapped it in tissue paper. Now, I will tell you that it was fun, and I didn't have any blank pages, but I had one day that was hard. I really had to search my heart to find a reason to write down why I loved him. And I wrote that in there. Today was a hard day, but I still came up with something on that day. So I wrapped it up, and then on New Year's Day, we're in California in a hotel room, and I said, "I've got a present for you." And he said, "Well, Christmas is over." I said, "I know, but this is a special present." So I let him open it, and he read the first paragraph where I kind of explained as I started that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write every day for a year. And he started turning pages, and he made it through January. And then he stopped and looked at me, and he didn't have to say anything because I knew what it meant to him, and I knew what it meant to me. It was an amazing, magical experience to do this. It was a $3 journal, and now it's become a treasure. It sits on his nightstand, so every night when we go to bed, he said, "I'm going to read you a story." And he reads me what I wrote the year before. And so it does 2 things. Now, for a year, I lived in this love place for him, and now he's rereading it to me, so he's reading one day at a time. He decided it's more fun this way. What I wrote a year ago, and it refreshes my memory, what I said a year ago. It's an amazing thing. A $3 journal, it's the best gift you can give anybody. Now, just imagine if you did this for a parent. If one of my kids did this for me for a year, I would be a puddle on the floor. I got so excited. When I took the 4th quarter Post-it note off, I was so excited because I knew I was doing it, and I couldn't wait to give it to him because I knew how fun it was going to be. Think about if we did this for a parent, an aging parent. I should be a good girl and have started one this year for my mom. Think about if you did this for yourself, and every day you wrote down why you loved yourself and why you are good enough and what's good about you, and you did that for a year. If you're grieving, I did a workshop a couple weeks ago, a writing workshop at a hospice, and we invited the community, people that are grieving, and I did a writing workshop with them, which was magical. And I said, what if you did this for the person that has passed, and every day for a year you wrote why you loved them? And in the beginning it's going to be sad, and I bet by the end you're going to start writing happy memories. It would be such a healing process. You don't have to do it for a year. It'd be a great Valentine present, if you did it for a month or a couple weeks. It'd be a great Mother's Day present. It's the best idea, the easiest, cheapest idea, and it would probably be the most meaningful thing. I will tell you, my husband treasures this book. I have a feeling after a year, he might start reading it again. I don't know what he's going to do. But I had no idea it was going to turn out to be such a big deal, and it has been.